Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today is National Dog Day. So I thought it would be a great idea to go ahead and update our pattern and video for our button dog scarf or cowl, whichever you want to call it. This one is Maximo's, and I love how it turned out. And I'm going to show you how to make one of these for your dog. This pattern will work for any size dog, and I'll explain that to you when we get going in the video. Now you can find this free crochet pattern on my blog, and as always, you'll find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. All right, let's talk yarn. This one that I made for my Maximo is made with Red Heart Ombre. It's called Latte, and it's just different shades of beiges and browns. I love how it turned out. I'm going to be making rosies today with this yarn. This is Mandela. It is their ombre yarn, and you can see it has some pinks, teal, some purple, some green, and we're just going to see how it turns out. So you can use any medium weight number 4 yarn. I do prefer acrylic yarn or maybe wool or alpaca for this project or any of those blends. I don't really recommend cotton unless you want to make it for your dog to wear in the summer. All right, so basically any medium weight number 4 yarn, and you're going to need about an ounce or more depending on the size you're making for your dog. And I'll talk to you about sizing it when we get started. We're going to be stitching today with our H-hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need your scissors, of course, and a needle for weaving in your yarns. Now, you're also going to need a button. And I've got some fun dog bone buttons here. I purchased these at Hobby Lobby, and I purchased them over in the scrapbooking section. I got 2 different bags. One of them had these beiges and brown solid bones, and then the other one had the polka dot and the glitter, and this one that looks like a zebra. I don't know which button I'm going to use for my collar for Rosie yet. I'm going to wait and see how it looks, and then I'll see which one of these goes best. But I have a feeling I'm going to go with this zebra. I like the background in pink. The thing about the button is it's not a button that goes through a buttonhole. We're going to attach the collar or the cowl, scarf, whatever you want to call it, using that button. We stitch it together and then add the button. So you won't be doing any buttoning and unbuttoning with that button. And these measure about 3/4 of an inch to maybe an inch. These are a little bit longer. And you can use pretty much any size decorative button that you want to add. I just thought these dog bones were super cute. I'm going to be making a cowl or scarf that measures about 9 inches around. And what you need to do to adjust it to fit your dog is 3 chains per inch plus 23 more chains. And that's for, you don't want the collar to fit tightly, and we also need to overlap the end. All right, so 3 chains per inch plus 23 more chains. I'm going to be chaining 50 chains today. And remember, when you're doing your beginning chain, don't pull too tightly because you don't want the edge of your cowl or scarf to be puckered up. All right, so since I'm making the 9-inch, I'm going to chain 50 chains. I have chained my 50 chains, and I chained them just a little bit loose because I don't want the edge of my scarf to be puckered up. We're going to begin by stitching 1 single crochet in the 2nd chain from the hook. There's 1, there's 2. So we'll go in, pull up a loop, yarn over and go through both loops. And now we're just going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of those chains across. Now we started in the second chain from the hook, and I chained 50, so I'm going to have 49 single crochets. And no matter what size you're making, whether smaller or larger, your first row should be a solid row of single crochets. One single crochet in each of the chains across. I've stitched 1 single crochet in each stitch across, and remember we started in the second chain, so I have 49 single crochets. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Our chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so we'll go right in our first stitch. We'll stitch a single crochet, we'll chain 1, we'll skip the next single crochet and single crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next. And that's our repeat for row 2. Single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and we'll work this all the way across, no matter what size that you're making. Single crochet, chain 1, skip 1. And we'll work that all the way across for row 2. Single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and repeat. I've completed row 2, stitching single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet all the way across. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now your stitch count is going to remain the same for all the rows of the cowl or scarf, and so since I have 49, my stitches on every row will be 49 stitches, whether I'm just doing a solid row of single crochet or the alternating between the single crochet, chain 1, skip 1. Alright, for row 3, we're going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch across. Sometimes it can be a little difficult knowing where to put your stitches, so you can follow that row of chains on the top. Our chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and so we'll go right in our first and stitch a single crochet. Then we'll go in that chain 1 space and stitch a single crochet. Then we'll stitch a single crochet in the single crochet and a single crochet in the chain 1 space. And we'll repeat this, working all the way across for row 3. And you'll end up with a solid row of single crochet stitches. 1 single crochet in the single crochet, 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space, working all the way across for row 3. And you'll end up with a nice even row of single crochet stitches. And so we'll repeat this for row 3, 1 single crochet in the single crochet, and 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space, and repeat all the way across for row 3. I have completed row 3, stitching 1 single crochet in each stitch across, 1 in each single crochet and 1 in each chain 1 space. Chain 1 and turn. Now for row 4, we're going to repeat what we did on row 2. We're going to single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and again we'll repeat this all the way across. Single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and repeat all the way across for row 4. I have completed row 4. We repeated what we did on row 2, 1 single crochet, chain 1, skip 1 all the way across. I've chained 1 and turn. And now for row 5, we're going to repeat what we did on row 3. We're going to stitch 1 single crochet in each single crochet and 1 single crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces. So basically, we're repeating row 3. Single crochet in the single crochet in the chain 1 space. Just like we did for row 3. I have completed this row, and so what we're going to do is we're going to repeat row 2 and row 3 one more time. We'll do another row of single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and then another row of a solid row of single crochet across. So we're going to repeat row 2 and row 3 one more time. I have completed that repeat of row 2 and row 3, and you should end on a solid row of single crochet. Now, this is the size that I like for my dogs. They're 5 and 7 pound Chihuahuas. Now, if you want to make your scarf wider, because maybe you're making it for a bigger dog, you can add as many row repeats as you would like. All right, so once you have it as wide as you want it, we're going to turn it and we're going to place 8 single crochets down the side of our work. All right, and the key to getting it to look nice is to go in the sides of the stitches, not the holes. So there's 1, 2, let's get in there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, now we're going to turn and work down the bottom of our scarf. So we'll go right in that corner and we're going to stitch 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. Let me pull that. There we go, so it's not sticking out. And then we're going to work down the bottom, stitching 1 single crochet in each of those stitches. And this is the bottom where we began, where we did our initial chains. And so your chains should be easy to get your stitches in. And so we'll just work right across the bottom, stitching 1 single crochet in each of those chain stitches. I worked all the way down the bottom, stitching 1 single crochet in each of those stitches. Brings us to the corner. And on this end, we want to put 8 single crochets, just like we did on the other side. There we go. 6, 7, and here's our last stitch, 8. So I stitched those 8 stitches on the end, and now we're just going to work back across the top of our collar, stitching 1 single crochet in each of those stitches across. So again, I stitched 1 single crochet in each stitch across. That brings us to this corner, and I'm going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch. Now on Maximo's, I just left it with that row of single crochet all the way around the collar. On Rosie's, I decided I wanted to add just a little bit of a ruffle look. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. We're going to skip the next stitch and slip stitch in the next. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Skip the next stitch and slip stitch in the next. And we're going to go all the way around the collar in order to give hers just a little bit of a girly look. Chain 3, skip 1, slip stitch in the next. 1, 2, 3. Skip the next one and slip stitch, there we go, in the next. 1, 2, 3. Skip 1, slip stitch in the next, working all the way around all 4 sides of our little cowl or scarf or collar. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this little chain 3, skip 1, slip stitch in the next, working all the way around all 4 sides of this cowl, so Rosie's has just a little bit of girliness to it. You don't have to do this row. You can leave it just like Maximo's with the row of single crochet all the way around. So I added that fun little girly trim all the way around Rosie's scarf, and so now we're going to tie off. And we'll pull that to the back. Where did that go? We'll just pull it to the back. I weaved in the yarn where we ended, but where we began, I left this, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. I did decide on the pink zebra dog bone button, and I went ahead and threaded about a 12 to 18 thread on my needle. All right, so we're going to lay it flat. We're going to fold the side with the string down. Then we'll fold the other side like this. And the reason we left this here is we're going to use this just to tack it so that it holds, but we're not going to do that just yet. All right, we're going to add our button right there, and I think that's going to look adorable with that zebra button. All right, so we're not making a buttonhole or anything like that. We're going to hold the 2 together. We're going to come up from the bottom and make sure that you go through a stitch and not a hole. We're going to leave a little bit down here. The button is going to be sewn this way, and so we're going to go down and come back up and make a loop, and that's going to help the button hold. Then I'm going to go down and come over. And the reason I'm doing that is because the button is going to be sewn on across. If it was going to be sewn on up and down, I wouldn't do that extra little stitch. All right, so we'll go through that button. And we're going to go down, try to go through some stitches. And we'll stitch that on a few times. It's important to get it on snugly, because dogs do have a tendency that when they see something, especially around their neck or in their eyesight, they might try to bite that. So you want to make sure that that button is sewn on securely. All right, and then we'll go to the back and we'll tie that snugly. We want that to stay put. 1, 2, and then we will Do that third little knot I like to do. I'm sure it has a name, I just don't know what it is. And then we'll cut that. If you feel like that's not going to hold or you're not happy with that, you can add a little fabric glue to that knot as well as the button if you want to. I do not recommend hot glue, especially if this is going to be worn outside where you have temperature changes where it gets really cold, it'll crack off, and if it gets really hot, it will melt. All right, so what we're going to do with this string is we're going to thread that onto our needle. And we're just going to carefully tack this down. We want to make sure we don't go through those stitches on the front. So we're just going to make a few stitches just so this stays put. It's just to hold it in place. We don't want that piece of our fabric of our cowl or scarf to be flopping around. And then we can just go ahead and weave that in securely. There we go. And now Rosie's collar, cowl, or scarf, whatever you want to call it, is complete. So you can make it with the little lacy edge, or you can make it like Maximo's with just a solid single crochet row around the edge. And so this dog collar, scarf, cowl, whatever you want to call it, is completely versatile for any size dog or pet. Get in your yarn stash again, come up with some fun colors, some cool buttons, and make your dogs some great ones for National Dog Day. And don't forget, the kitty cats like them too.